Hello, Earthlings. It's Sunday now, and just this morning, I sent out an email to all the people I had in mind to play in my jazz composition senior portfolio recital thing this April. And as of now, I've gotten responses back from all but one of them, with only two people who can't do it, so that's good. As of now, I have also listened to the two albums I reviewed over this past week, as well as Eva Cassell's, they're all equally good. I don't know which one is the best. I mean, equal quality songwriting on all three. They're all too different to compare. Eva's is the best. But yeah, I guess things are looking up. I haven't worn my sling all weekend because I'm supposed to keep my left arm active. I'm actually filming this with my left arm, so things are definitely looking up. Alright, it's Monday now, and as you can see, I've returned to the ponytail. So I guess today should be good, I guess. In Brazilian harmony, we're gonna focus on Jobim today, if the syllabus is any indicator of anything. I mean, we kinda touched on him last week, because we started talking about Bossa, and he did score a few early hits, but I believe today we're gonna pretty much focus on him. Alright, it's Tuesday now. I was feeling unusually good yesterday, which, as I always say, is good. Yeah, Jobim, we delved in depth into his writing style. We learned the fact that Joe Mulholland, who teaches the class, likes to point out, which is that Wave, or at least the main section of Wave, is actually a blues. It's a bossa, but it's a blues. I mean, it's got all the chord changes in the right places. It's even got a lot of the optional ones. I mean, the last phrase of it is a blues lick. We looked at Samba do Avião, which is one of his lesser known things, and how he actually used sort of the bass motion to give the feeling of instability, because he had a fear of flying, so that was good. Alright, it's Wednesday now. I don't know if we're having a jazz comp seminar today, as it's been a long time since we've had one, but I haven't gotten any emails from Eric. I'm not exactly looking forward to when we do, because that'll mean I'll pretty much be in school for 6 hours straight with no breaks from 2 to 8, but on the other hand, I want to graduate, so. Plus it'll be, a great learning experience. We're gonna be talking about something kind of fun in music psychology today, earworms, and also how we categorize music. And then in Ben Cam's class, we're gonna finally get around to discussing last week tonight. Alright, so it turns out, once again, there was no jazz comp seminar. This is longer of a pause than I remember last year between the seminars. We didn't talk much about earworms in music psychology as much as we did people's perception of music and how musicians are better than non-musicians at picking out different instruments from the same family. Like, the difference between a trumpet and a trombone, or, we kind of looked at a sort of parallel, which is how musicians versus non-musicians perceive tonal languages like Mandarin. Because in Mandarin there's like 4 inflections. There's and I believe. If any Mandarin speakers know this to not quite be true, feel free to correct me in the comments. In other news, I'm heading into a dark tunnel of scaffolding. It sometimes rains a lot more underneath this scaffolding than it does outside. There goes a squad of joggers behind me. There they are. Anyway, in Ben's class today, we talked about the episode of Last Week Tonight from Sunday, which was about Tibet and how the Chinese are oppressing them, and our discussion got way off track. Although it was good at the time, but I can't remember what the subject drifted to. But it was good. And then the calf, I presume in celebration of International Women's Day, because that's what it is today. I guess I should probably take the time to thank all the women who have made a difference in my life. I hope you know who you are. I mean, I've actually had many more important women in my life than men. I mean, we would literally not exist without women. My ex-roommate Nick posted that as his Facebook status. I don't know if you're quoting someone, but if you were not, thank you, Nick, for that. Good on you, and all that stuff. But in the calf, they had a fried dough station. They actually had sweet and savory toppings that you could put on yours. And I was really intrigued by the idea of a savory fried dough, because I had previously thought of it as like an old-fashioned donut in the shape of a greatly misshapen pretzel. But, you know, it's blank enough that it can be savory, so I had a savory one. Oh, I also forgot to mention, in Ben's class, we listened to In Germany Before the War by Randy Newman, which is a masterwork of line omissions. It's like every time the sections come round, he takes away more and more of the lyrics, which suits the unstable feeling. It sort of draws your attention a bit more to the melody, which I don't know if it's necessarily Chopin-esque, but it reminds me of Chopin. I think the harmony reminds me more of Chopin than the melody, but it's got this really jarring major-minor thing starting in the second verse, where it's like it changes from major to minor every beat. Alright, it's Thursday night now, and I think this week has pretty much so far been one long week of feeling good. Let's see, in modernism and the arts, our class wasn't very long. We were just discussing what would happen on the midterm, which I can hardly believe is next week. Although since it initially meets on Tuesday, that particular class, we will more than likely get snowed in if the forecast is true. In poetry, we continued reading our poems. This is our third batch of poems. Basically, we're only going to write in 10-syllable lines for the entire semester, because it's just poetry 1. I've probably said this in quite a few videos, but basically, our first assignment was to write a poem with pauses at the end of every line, natural pauses at the end of every line, but none in the middle. And then in the next batch, we could start putting pauses in the middle. And then in this one, we could take them away at the end, basically breaking phrases with line breaks. Obviously, they all have different effects, which are highlighted by the fact that every line is 10 syllables, I guess. No, definitely. Alright, it's Friday now, and as you can see, it's snowing again in March. I mean, it snowed in April last year, so I guess this isn't too ridiculous. We're supposed to get some ridiculous snow on Tuesday, though, which is midterms week. I've got another physical therapy appointment today, which means I'll have to miss the back half of music psychology. But we've already talked about the midterm in that class. It's not even going to be a midterm. It's just going to be a quiz. Everything we've learned since the last quiz. Alright, it's a lot later now. It's been a long time since I last filmed today. But in between the two classes I had today, I went to see my physical therapist at the hospital. I got a brand new set of exercises. All the ones I did the last week were pushing, and now all the ones I've got this week are pulling. Again, it's a tiny fracture in the shoulder, and it's healing beautifully, as it has been for over a month. And then, like, in the space between the 2 classes I had today, I also met up with Aura, my sometime songwriting partner. I'm only saying sometime because we've met up a total of 3 times and written a total of 2 songs, but they're complete. We just finished one today and it felt great. We even came up with a title. I don't know if I should say it in this vlog because it's so good. Oh, what the hell? It's called Our Bags. It's one of those titles that makes no sense when you don't hear it in the context of the lyrics. And there's not much I have to say other than, tune in for Sound Mind this Thursday. I'll either be talking about my song Julian or another song of mine called Armistice Day Part 2. Whichever one I don't talk about, I'll talk about the next week to, I guess, give you a double whammy. But until next thing, Gafaba.